Imagine waking up and deciding you won't eat for the next 3 days. In America, where food is available 24/7, that choice feels almost rebellious. Drive-thrus glow at midnight. Grocery stores never close. Delivery apps promise comfort within minutes. We've been trained to believe that hunger is an emergency. But biologically, it isn't. Your body wasn't built for constant grazing. It was built for rhythm, periods of eating, periods of not eating. And when that rhythm returns, something powerful begins to wake up inside you. The moment you stop eating, your body doesn't panic. It doesn't sound alarms, it pauses. For the first few hours, everything feels normal because it is normal. You're running on stored glucose called glycogen, saved in your liver and muscles. Think of it like backup fuel in a generator. Insulin begins to decline slowly, signaling that easy energy is fading. But there's no crisis. You can still think clearly, move normally, and function without effort. Beneath the surface, though, subtle changes are quietly setting the stage. Between hours 4 and 12, life feels almost identical to any other day. You can work, drive, answer emails, scroll social media, and joke with friends. No one would guess you haven't eaten. Your liver steadily releases stored glycogen to keep blood sugar stable. Hunger may show up, but often it's habit, not biological need. The hormone ghrelin rises at your usual meal times, like a reminder alarm, but when ignored, it fades. Your body is proving something important. Routine is powerful, but it isn't the same as necessity. Around the 12-hour mark, your glycogen reserves begin thinning. Not empty yet, but noticeably lighter. This is where many people mistake psychological desire for true hunger. Walking past the kitchen feels louder than it should. The smell of food feels amplified. But internally, insulin has dropped low enough for fat cells to prepare for release. Your metabolism senses that glucose won't last forever. It begins adjusting enzyme systems, preparing mitochondria, and lining up a backup energy strategy that has existed for thousands of years. By hour 18, your glycogen tank is nearly depleted. This is the crossroads. The body can panic or it can adapt. Evolution has trained it to adapt. Fat cells begin releasing fatty acids into your bloodstream. Your liver converts them into ketones, a powerful alternative fuel. What feels uncomfortable on the outside, a slight headache, irritability, maybe fatigue, is actually the sound of an engine switching fuel sources. The modern sugar-based metabolism steps aside, and an ancient fat-burning system powers up. Crossing into 24 hours is where things become noticeable. Ketones are now rising in meaningful amounts. For most of your life, your brain has relied heavily on glucose. But it's remarkably flexible. Ketones cross into the brain easily and begin fueling neurons efficiently. Many people describe this stage as mentally quiet, not wired, not jittery, just steady. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called BDNF, begins to rise. This protein supports memory, learning, and neural protection. Your brain isn't declining. It's adapting. Hunger at this stage behaves differently than most expect. It comes in waves instead of constant pressure. A surge appears, then fades. You realize it's temporary. That realization alone can feel empowering. Energy becomes more stable as blood sugar swings disappear. You're no longer riding the roller coaster of spikes and crashes. Instead, there's a calm baseline forming. For many Americans used to frequent snacking, this stability feels unfamiliar, even surprising. By the end of the first day, something important has shifted. You're no longer just not eating. You're metabolically transitioning. Fat is becoming the primary fuel source. Insulin remains low. Inflammation begins to subtly decline. The digestive system gets its first extended break in years. What started as discomfort is slowly becoming adaptation. The body that once seemed dependent on constant feeding is revealing its resilience. And this is only the beginning. Because as the second day approaches, a deeper cellular process begins, one that scientists around the world have studied for its connection to longevity and disease prevention. The first 24 hours flipped the switch. But what happens next is where the real transformation unfolds. Somewhere between hours 30 and 36, fasting takes on a different character. Hunger, which you expected to intensify, actually softens. The hormone ghrelin follows patterns tied to your usual meal schedule. When those meals don't arrive, the spikes weaken. What once felt urgent becomes manageable. You're not constantly fighting cravings anymore, you're observing them. Meanwhile, ketone production increases steadily, providing your brain with a consistent fuel supply that doesn't spike or crash. This stage often brings emotional steadiness. Without blood sugar swings, mood stabilizes, irritability fades. Focus sharpens in a calm, grounded way. It's not like caffeine stimulation. It's smoother. Your liver works efficiently, converting fatty acids into ketones. Growth hormone levels begin to rise, helping preserve lean muscle tissue. Contrary to common fear, your body isn't rapidly breaking down muscle. It's conserving valuable tissue while prioritizing fat stores for energy. Around the 36-hour mark, the process known as autophagy begins accelerating. The term sounds technical, but the concept is simple. It means self-eating, and it's one of the most important repair systems in the human body. During autophagy, damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, and cellular debris are broken down and recycled. Think of it as a microscopic cleanup crew moving through your body, removing clutter that builds up during constant feeding. The groundbreaking research of Yoshinori Osumi helped reveal how autophagy works and why it matters for longevity. When digestion is paused, energy that would normally process food can be redirected toward repair. Inflammation begins to decline more noticeably, cells become more efficient. This is one reason fasting is studied in connection with aging and chronic disease. It's not magic. It's maintenance. By 48 hours, another significant shift occurs. Your immune system begins a reset process. Older immune cells, especially those contributing to chronic inflammation, are broken down through autophagy pathways. At the same time, stem cells in your bone marrow prepare to generate new white blood cells once feeding resumes. It's less about boosting immunity and more about renewing it. The body retires outdated components and prepares fresh ones. On the outside, you may feel surprisingly stable. Energy becomes predictable. Hunger is quieter than it was on day one. Mental clarity often deepens. Ketones are flowing reliably, fueling both brain and body. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stabilizes without constant glucose fluctuations. For many people, especially those used to frequent eating schedules, this stage feels like discovering a hidden gear: steady, focused, sustainable. Between 50 and 60 hours, growth hormone can rise significantly, supporting tissue repair and metabolic balance. Your metabolism has fully committed to fat as its primary fuel. The body is no longer negotiating, it's operating in adaptation mode. Emotional responses often feel less reactive. There's space between stimulus and response. That psychological clarity can feel as powerful as the physical changes. Approaching 60 hours, many describe entering what researchers sometimes call hunter mode. It's not about aggression. It's about heightened awareness. Before supermarkets existed, humans needed mental sharpness during food scarcity. Ketones at higher levels may support cognitive performance and protect neurons from oxidative stress. BDNF continues supporting neural resilience. Instead of fog, there's definition. Instead of urgency, there's calculation. This phase reminds you of something profound. The body is not fragile, it's adaptable. For decades, modern convenience has shielded us from experiencing this biological capability. But it never disappeared. It simply waited. The second day of fasting isn't collapse, it's recalibration. Systems once dependent on constant input are now functioning with internal efficiency. As the third day approaches, the body moves toward a state few people in modern America ever experience. Not because it's impossible, but because comfort rarely gives biology the silence it needs to fully activate its deeper programs. And what happens between 60 and 72 hours represents the peak of this adaptation. Crossing into the 70th hour feels different. Not dramatic, not extreme, balanced. Your metabolism, hormones, and nervous system move in synchrony. Ketones provide steady fuel. Inflammation continues trending downward. Digestion rests deeply. The gut lining, often irritated by constant processing, has time to repair microscopic damage. Your microbiome begins shifting in response to the metabolic environment. Internally, it's a coordinated symphony of conservation and renewal. Autophagy continues its cleanup operation, recycling remaining damaged cellular components. Emotionally, many report calm confidence. Not euphoria, not weakness, just steadiness. This state is rarely reached in a culture built on constant consumption. Yet it reflects the metabolic flexibility humans evolved to possess. By 72 hours, your body has completed a profound biological reset. Insulin sensitivity is heightened. Fat adaptation is strong. Immune renewal processes are primed. But the way you break the fast now matters deeply. After 3 days of digestive rest, your system needs a gentle reintroduction. Overloading it with ultra-processed or heavy foods can cause discomfort and sharp insulin spikes. The goal is transition, not shock. Simple, nutrient-dense foods are ideal. Broth, soft-cooked vegetables, eggs, avocado. Foods that are easy to digest and rich in micronutrients. As you eat, insulin rises in a controlled curve. Cells eagerly absorb nutrients. Stem cells in the bone marrow begin producing fresh immune cells. Muscle repair subtly increases. The microbiome responds to the quality of what you introduce. The first meal becomes symbolic, a bridge between fasting adaptation and nourished rebuilding. Beyond biology, the psychological shift may be the most powerful outcome. You learn that hunger is not immediate danger. You learn that discomfort can pass without reaction. You discover discipline that isn't forced but chosen. In a society driven by instant gratification, that realization is transformative. Food becomes intentional instead of automatic. Cravings lose urgency, awareness replaces impulse. This isn't about extreme dieting, it's about understanding capability. The 72-hour fast reveals systems most people never witness. Metabolic switching, cellular cleanup, immune renewal, hormonal balance. It shows that the human body contains ancient intelligence shaped long before modern convenience. And when given space, that intelligence activates with precision. You are not dependent on constant intake. You are metabolically flexible. You are adaptable. And once you understand that, your relationship with food shifts permanently. The most surprising realization after 72 hours isn't weakness. It's strength, not just physical, but mental. You challenged a belief that hunger equals harm. You observed your body shift gears. You experienced clarity that didn't come from caffeine or sugar, but from internal adaptation. That awareness stays with you long after the fast ends. And if 3 days can reveal this much, imagine what just 24 hours can teach someone who has never tried it. The transformation begins earlier than most people think. The first shift happens quietly, within a single day. Once you understand that foundation, everything else makes sense. Your body was never designed for constant feeding. It was designed for rhythm. And when that rhythm returns, so does a level of resilience modern life often hides. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Fasting is not appropriate for everyone, including individuals who are pregnant, diabetic, underweight, managing medical conditions, or taking certain medications. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before attempting prolonged fasting. Your health and safety come first. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's curious about what the human body is truly capable of. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.